So we will start with Dr. Michael Siminovitch's presentation. Professor Siminovitch is the director of the California Lighting Technology Center in UC Davis and an associate director of the Energy Efficiency Center. Michael holds the Arthur Rosenfeld Endowed Chair in Energy Efficiency. For those of you who don't know, Professor Rosenfeld invented the term energy efficiency here in California at the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, and we have representatives from LBNL here. And Michael holds the first endowed chair, the Rosenfeld Chair. He will present an exciting collaboration project between UC Davis and a consortium in Mexico that is led by the Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara, represented here by Dr. Alcocer, and that also includes Tec de Monterrey and businesses and the local state. And obviously, CENER is funding that. So please give a warm welcome to Professor Michael Siminovitch.
Consul General, thank you so much for inviting me over for lunch. Everybody hear me without the microphone? Herman, thank you for the great introduction, and please continue eating. We're the lunchtime entertainment. Okay. This slide is actually when we put together some of the original agreements in Mexico, and this gives you the impression that I may actually understand Spanish. I'm in the process now of learning very quickly, so need to be patient. So this is really, as Herman was saying, this is a very exciting partnership, a very unique partnership, where UAG, University Autónoma at Guadalajara, and UC Davis, working collegially together, put together a very large multi-year proposal to start a lighting technology and development center in Mexico. So it's really a true partnership with Professor Mauricio. And so this is actually at the signature agreement, and we shook hands. And the essence of this presentation is really one of partnership. And I think that's the takeaway, that working together, we can really address big, long-term problems. And so just to put a little bit of perspective in this is that there was a lot of collaboration back and forth, initially looking at the kinds of things that we were doing in California. And right now, I'm currently director of the Lighting Center at Davis. The dean also makes me teach. But we're very involved in research and development with a very translational nature in terms of getting new technologies into the commercial space. And so just to set the tone is that, buildings are a big part of our carbon issue. And so we're really, really interested here in California in carbon, in Mexico. We share this aspiration of what are the kinds of things that we can do strategically and tactically to really address carbon issues. And buildings are a big part of this problem. And what are the kinds of things that we can do in terms of how we engineer, design, run, manage our buildings to address this problem? And so the kinds of deep policy drivers that drove us initially at UC Davis was how to develop best practices for architects and engineers. We need to start teaching these things in college. We don't right now. We need to start engaging in that. We need to develop best practices. What are the kinds of things that architects and engineers should be doing in the design of buildings? And then ultimately, how do we codify that and make it so that we build good buildings by codes and standards? And codes and standards can be good things. They don't need to be negative things. They can be things of, we can elevate the design practice through codes and standards. So at Davis, we basically do four things. We do research and development, always with partners. We're very engaged in walking the talk and doing demonstrations. Many of the buildings very close to here have got a lot of our newer technologies in it, addressing carbon issues, productivity. We're very engaged in training and education. We develop training programs for architects and for engineers. and ultimately will lead to codes and standards. And this was really, this sort of whole mission was really driven by a very a supportive initiative from the California Energy Commission, and with support also from the U.S. Department of Energy, our industry partners. We came to Davis and we launched this. So again, we do research and development. We're always developing new technologies, new ideas. And our unique features, we work very closely with manufacturers and designers. So we're very engaged. We're not telling people what to do. We're working with them from the beginning. We do lots of demonstrations. We walk the talk. We're relighting cities, universities, schools, hospitals. And so this is actually UC Davis with a new urban landscape. We're getting 40 to 50% savings with this kind of lighting. We're developing codes and standards. When you build exterior lighting in California, it's driven by our codes and standards that we developed at the university. We're doing education and training, and notice that none of these folks look like undergraduates. So, yeah, so the dean says, why are these folks here? And I said, well, these are city managers, and we're working with city managers that are confronted with these day-to-day problems. So we've created this kind of pipeline of activities going from R&D to demonstration to training architects, and then ultimately driving it into codes and standards. And so this kind of pipeline was something that we learned and we developed, and we're working now with our partners in Guadalajara in terms of how do we take this pipeline, apply it, how do we improve it? How do we make it better with the kinds of opportunities and conditions that exist in Mexico? We have lots of help, and you need to have the industry on the profession at the center. And so these are all different manufacturers. They're making money on energy efficiency, and they should make money on energy efficiency. We need to drive into the businesses and into the profession. We can't write only scholarly papers. We have to engage with these folks. They need to be part of this process. So this is the kind of flavor that we're bringing. And so, again, this is collegial. This isn't UC Davis parachuting into Mexico. We're both working together on this, and it's very much of a round table. And this was set with a very nice foundation. The state of California and Mexico signed agreements on let's work together on sustainability, and this is this kind of spirit of close collaboration. This is my boss's boss's boss, President Napolitano, putting together, let's let the University of California be helpful in this process, and let's work together. So more agreements to be nice and do good things. And again, same policy drivers. In other words, we collegially want to develop best practices for lighting. What do we can do with the architecture community, codes and standards? We had lots of help when we had sort of senior folks provide leadership and guidance. And how do we get these two professors together from very diverse backgrounds and two different countries? And so Sergio Medina from Jalisco and Herman, very helpful in sort of putting us together and making this proposal happen. And so we put this together, support from CINER, University of California, and again, to address barriers, and again, the common barriers of sustainability, best practices, codes and standards. Ultimately, our objective here is we want to evolve this process of laboratory to marketplace. We want to make this a deeper process. We want to inform it. We want to drive it with Mexico issues. We want to build human capital. We need folks that know about energy efficiency, understand energy efficiency, and understand that at the professional level. We're going to build laboratories and facilities. And the university in Mexico will be the leading public university in Mexico for lighting. And this is an enormous opportunity. Again, we're going to take this pipeline and we're going to improve it. We're going to make it even better. And so this is like a blank sheet of paper, new opportunity with industry. Our industry partners are very excited about this investment. New building. Nothing like a new building in order to help you see your dreams. And so Professor Mauricio is going to talk more about this. Management. We have lots of great management. And so professors always need careful handling and management. And so these are all the vice chancellor folks, types at the university, very supportive of this partnership. And this was at the Casa California in Mexico City when the agreement was signed and penned, and we have great support. So I'm going to turn this over to Professor Mauricio.